All right, so we're gonna remember that we started from a rectangle. Rectangle was simple. Let's refresh our mind. Rectangle was very simple, right? Because the rectangle, we said that the long side is what we call the length, and the short side is what we call the width. I can literally count the squares of a rectangle, but I showed you guys that the formula was gonna be length times width. And an interesting part of a rectangle is that the length and the width intersect at 90 degrees. And once again, I like to use the word intersect, and that means they meet. The length and the width, they meet at 90 degrees. Now, the cool part is that if I have a rectangle, right, length times width, that gives me a rectangle. But what if I decide to cut my rectangle in half? Right, I'm going to cut it in half. Let me highlight what I'm looking at. Once again, I have a rectangle and I divide it by 2 because I'm cutting it in half. Look, that gives me a triangle. So the way I'm going to find the area of a triangle, I'm going to multiply length and width. And once again, to identify length and width, I'm going to be looking for my 90-degree symbol. I'm going to multiply length times width, and then I'll divide it by 2. All right, let's take a look at question number 1. I see my 90-degree symbol, right? I look for the box. That little box will be sometimes inside of the triangle, sometimes it will be even outside of the triangle. I'm just looking for the 90-degree symbol. It's made by 5 and 2.9. If I was to multiply 5 times 2.9, 5 times 2.9, we know that gives me a rectangle. So matter of fact, you guys can see the rectangle here, but I'm just interested in the triangle. I just mentioned a few seconds ago that a triangle is the half of a rectangle. Therefore, let me divide this by 2. So I'm just going to multiply 5 times 2.9. Use a calculator if you need to. And the result divided by 2. And that gives me that the area is 7.25. Don't worry about measurements. At this point, I'm not going to concentrate on measurements, just concentrate on the number. There are some values on the pictures that you guys are not going to use. This 5 and this 3, we did not use. So once again, I'm going to go length times width. Length and width are those that intersect at 90 degrees. So I'm going to go length times width divided by 2. Let me take a look at example number 3. Look for the 90-degree symbol. It's made by 6 and 8.5. So I'm just going to go 6 times 8.5. And my result, I'll divide it by 2. So 6 times 8.5, I know that gives me 51. Divided by 2, that gives me 25.5. Let's take a look at another question. Number 5. My 90-degree symbol, this case, is outside of the circle of the triangle, and it is fine. I said look for the 90 degrees. Sometimes it might be inside of the triangle, sometimes it might be outside of the triangle. That little box is made by 3.8 and 6. Right? If I was to extend 6, they eventually meet. So I'm just going to multiply 3.8 times 6. So that's going to give me length times width divided by 2. So 3.8 times 6 divided by 2, I get 11.4. Some numbers I'm not going to use, so don't think you have to use every number. Just length times width divided by 2.